Hey yo, what up, man? This Lord Mav, and I'ma just get to this shit, man. I'm here to do it. I'm here to do it. I was gonna make an intro, but I don't care. Hey yo, I'm here with a real nigga thought, and that thought is fuck America. Excuse me, let me go back. I'm here with a real nigga thought, and that thought is fuck America. That's all I can think of for real. Nah, but I honestly forgot what the topic was. It's basically America, yo. It's basically America. These niggas trying to come at you. I forgot what the topic was. I should have kept it in my mind, but let me think about it. I don't know. Something along the lines of these niggas just trying to make you lose. These niggas trying to make you lose it, son. But I can't remember what the topic was. It wasn't no agenda shit. These niggas just on some, I don't even know. This might have to be the first video I edit down, because I forgot what I was supposed to be saying, but this shit is just crazy. These niggas is wild, hypocritical, right? I don't even know what to get into. Why? It's a problem with weed right now, right? Niggas have been thrown in jail. Niggas are still under police surveillance from all this weed shit, right? And they call it a bad thing that people are selling weed to other people illegally. But they no longer have the stigma that weed is bad from the government. Now they say, oh, we really don't know. We haven't done enough testing to see. But they're not going to do the testing because they don't want it to be legal. But if they on the track to making it legal, then why is it that you don't take these big drug dealers, right, that have been known to sell weed, and give them a legitimate business? If you're really trying to stop crime and turn this shit around, why you going to let a bunch of people who already have the means to start a business come and take over the weed business just because it's going good? When you got people who have been out here with no kind of government funding, selling this shit, making anywhere from hundreds to thousands to millions, or for them selling that shit personally outside every day. Hey yo, you want this shit? You want this shit? Niggas is actually making like business moves, but personally. There's nothing crazy. Hold on. Niggas is making business moves, you know what I mean? They outside every day, man. And you gonna come and give another white person, like y'all niggas talk about Trump, right? Because he came from a person who already had money, right? So what y'all think about these people who coming in, who now jumping on the weed business, and they've never done this shit before? When you got people still in jail that have been proven to be able to do it because they do it even when they don't have a place to do it. Them niggas on the street doing it. So you telling me you can't, now that you realize that the shit is wrong for locking them up, you can't take them niggas out and give them the businesses? Them shits is all over the country, right? Right? Take the niggas who sold drugs, not the killers. Take the niggas who sold drugs, put them back in the drug business, right? With, of course you gotta teach them first. While you making all these things go, you got to have them in jail learning how to really do it on the business side so that they can keep it running. You have them be monitored, but you really and technically just give them the business. With all of the people that you got in jail for these weed offenses, you could take just the big dudes and have them niggas be like the company owners, excuse me, basically like the shareholders. Or just the business runners. We don't even got to take it that far at first. We could just put it in a personal, brick and mortar business and whatnot. You go in and people is buying weed nonstop, and you got them all over the country. So you get to employ a lot of these former drug dealers. Now that you realize that what they were doing wasn't wrong, you just an asshole. Like that's what America is. America is a big ass asshole. The shit is crazy. Like. I know something I was gonna say that I remembered was I used to move like trying to rebel against this shit, right? And I don't even necessarily not believe that that's what you're supposed to do, because from all the shit that goes down, Oh, I know the topic, but from all the shit that goes down, they they shit. From all the shit that goes down, they make you feel like you're not a part of it. So that's really where I got that rebel mindset from. And now it's like I wouldn't tell anybody else not to rebel, but now I got the mindset of kind of like that rebel that's now on the enemy side. You know, I'm riding with the enemy just cause I wanna progress in this place that I'm in. I don't want to stay here. Of course, I want to make my own shit, but first I gotta progress here. Because if I don't progress here, I won't have anything to take with me. That's the crazy part. You know. Now the topic was, just so I get it out in the air, the topic was, I finally remembered it. It was America shall remain blameless. And that's the truth, man. Everything is taken up as the people and it'll never be appointed to the country itself. But think about the fact that we're going to start on some real easy shit, right? I'm about to chill while I do this. We're going to start on some real easy shit. America, right, is a country. And they claim that you as a person, you can do whatever you want to do. Just don't necessarily break the rules that we've set up. You can make what you want to make out of yourself. And that's true. You can make what you want to make, and that's been what it's been since the beginning. You know. Some of the things that they don't tell you is the steps. Because it takes steps to get to those points, you know? And it takes sacrifice, it takes dedication, and it takes chance sometimes and luck. Maybe some fate can be thrown in there. Because when you think about it, you have to meet the right people. If you aren't in positions, if you aren't in positions to do what you want to do yourself, then you're going to have to meet the right person to give you that idea. You know, even that, to get the idea of something. Sometimes you don't have the ideas, but you'll meet somebody that'll give you that idea. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a person literally got your foot in the door. But they put you on to something that you wasn't fucking with before. Basically. Or they told you a little bit more about it. Now, with this American shit, it's like they say you could do whatever you want. But the truth of it is you really have to do what they want first. And that's really since the beginning of time. Well, not the beginning of time, but the beginning of America. Because when the people came from other countries, them niggas was working for other people for a long time before they ended up opening up their own businesses. And the Chinese shit that we see now, that I would say like that's the fruit. Or going down to Chinatown out here in New York. I don't know about the other Chinatowns all over America, but going to Chinatown in New York, that's where you really see the businesses is set up just like pictures of shit you seen in China. So they keeping their culture alive, and they have to be keeping the shit in their family. Or even if the Chinese businesses aren't owned by the same people now that they was owned by in the 50s, then that means that it was competition between the Chinese people, but it's all still kind of going to the community. Not kinda, it is going to the community. You know, everything contributes to a community. But throughout everything, America is going to remain blameless. Like, they set this shit up to where you can't really do nothing until you work mad hard for other people. Right? But they act like that's just the way of the world. It's not. Because nature gives you a way to do things. I said before that we could all have our own set of land. Now, if we all have our own set of land, then we could plant things, right? And we could have fucking food to feed ourselves, right? You make tools, you go get an animal. You go catch an animal. Eventually you're going to figure out how to do it even if nobody tells you. Or you're going to die. That's the two options. Like, that's the two options of life with everything. You're going to figure it out or you're going to die. Seriously. So we don't necessarily have to worry about any of that. So if there happens to be a situation where somebody makes something, like let's say I made the first wheels, right? People are gonna want that. I made the first wagon. I'm gonna dictate within myself what people have to go and give me, right? But since it's not a necessity, because we already have everything that we need in life, it's not truly a necessity. So we can pick and choose if we really want to give this man what he wants. You know? If they say you have to use these dollars, you have to use dollars. Like, let's put it in a normal situation where we live now. You have to use these dollars to get the wheels and the wheelbarrow, and I'll give it to you after you give me $5, right? And you like, well, I only have apples and oranges, and I also have a cow and a goat, but I've never seen those before. What the fuck is that? And he like, well, actually, I have all the dollars because I just made them. But you could come, you and your wife, y'all could come work in my house for, let's say, 2 days, and y'all do whatever I want, and then I'll give you $5. And then you, as a person who's never seen that and who wants the wheelbarrow, you're like, okay, so that means that 2 days worth of slavery is equal to $5. And he's like, yeah, because that's what he set it up to be. So then you go ahead and do that, and you get the wheelbarrow. So now your work is easier, right? Because you have a wheelbarrow. Carrying shit for you is easier than it would be for the person that didn't do all that extra work to go ahead and get the wheelbarrow. But the end product is still going to be the same. And there was an original way. The original way isn't too much work until we start getting into other shit. Then it's like, oh my God, I can't imagine carrying this shit to the house, and then I gotta come back and carry some more shit to the house. It's like, nah, just get the wheelbarrow. I'll just do another 2 days. I broke it. Do another 2 days of slavery. So that's what this shit is. Like, that situation, you would be able to pick and choose if you wanted the wheelbarrow. This situation where we living in something that, this shit is unprecedented with these governments. They say that they own the land, you know? That's crazy. My uncle was talking about, in one of our arguments, he like, you could plant trees, you could plant fruit. They doing that right here. And I'm like, but that shit not enough. That's a piece of dirt on a block, nigga. We talking about a block, and it's a piece on a block. That wouldn't even really feed one family sufficiently for a long enough time, because niggas don't have to eat every day, but that wouldn't feed one family sufficiently. So we talking about multiple people trying to eat this thing in this small ass area. It's a good thing to do while we here, but at the same time, what I'm talking about is different, you know? And this is some new shit that we doing with this with the farming in the projects. But the city really doesn't have any way to produce these things, and since we need food to live, and they say that it's their land because they're the government and they took it over, you know, by force. They took it over by force from somebody else, not necessarily the people. That's the crazy part. They don't come to your door and say, hey, yo, I'm taking this shit. This is my block. Because that'd be too much work. But that's what it should be. So they build these landscapes, and then they say that this is mine. You can do this and this with it, but you can't do this and this with it. So now, me personally, I live in a situation where I can't really grow food that would feed my family. You know, I can't even begin to learn farming unless I leave where I live. And then when I leave where I live, I can't just go somewhere and start building stuff, because the land, if it doesn't belong to somebody else, personally, then it's going to belong to America. And I'm going to have to pay somebody to get that. So then that takes me back to working for somebody else to build up the imaginary shit that somebody made so that I could pay for things that I need that have been restricted to me by the same exact people. That's how you got to look at all of this American shit. I kind of want to breed rebels that change the country. You ain't got to necessarily rebel, but change the things that's fucked up with this place. Just in case I don't do it myself. But it's like, it's all slavery when you think about it, because you got to do something to do something else. Once you take out the food, that's it. once you take out food and water, like think about this right here. I'm about to kick the realest thought. Give me a second. 1 second. I'm about to pause it. I'm gonna have to pause it because I gotta get done with this. I gotta focus. Alright, so I'm back. A little winded. So America would claim, right, that the modern day work system isn't slavery, or that America itself isn't a slavish environment because, the Emancipation Proclamation, basically. The world will also say that, or would agree that the modern day work system that most people live by isn't slavery. But then I say, right, that when you factor in that when the government comes in, they take all the resources, then you have to call it slavery because you then don't have a choice in anything. We don't get our food from the streets. Whoever the fuck farms it, we don't even really know who farms it. For the most part, I didn't really even think about that shit when I was a little kid, about where my food was coming from until really the TV told me about it. Where's my food coming from? I saw a documentary. I saw a documentary when I was young because I like watching those things. And I came across one that was talking about food and shit. And I'm like, damn, yo, that's right. Where do food come? Because it got to grow out the ground. Like, it comes somewhere before the supermarket. But that's how we live. And think about that all over the world. We have supermarkets. And the supermarkets, it don't start there, right? It don't go from the farm to the supermarket. The supermarket buys that shit from somebody else, a distributor, and you better hope that the distributor gets that shit from the farm, because if not, or the plant that it comes from, because if not, then it's going through mad places. It's just making hella stops before that shit get to you. Who knows how long that food been kind of just sitting around places before it got to you, which is really why you got to wash it off. That should be traveling all over the world. And it's like, once you got the food, these niggas have polluted the water. And if you don't even factor in polluting the water, these niggas have let companies buy the water. How the fuck do you let a company buy water, nigga? Hold on. How you gonna let a company buy water? Huh? By you letting a company buy water, that means that you own the water. When did we talk about owning water? This is the fucked up part about government again. I'm gonna sidetrack real quick where these niggas claim to own these things that can't be owned because you can't buy it from anybody. How the fuck can you buy something that's been here, nigga? Niggas talking about the earth been here for billions of years and niggas is just now buying land from each other within the last thousands of years. Come on, son. That's fucking nonsense. This shit is crazy. So if you let a nigga buy the water, now we don't have free access to the water. It's been locked off because they're using it for purposes and they don't want shit that they don't want it to get in it, right? That's how you got places that got fencing over it. So you shut off from the water. They have all the food which they distribute to places that you now have to go and pay money for. You don't have the space to grow your own food if you live in a city. If you live in the country, cool, you could get your shit going. If you live in the city, you then have to work to go and, move. You got to work to move, make sure you're going to be good for a while. Then when you get out there, you're probably going to have to work too until you get your shit up. Like, you got to get your shit running. That's the thing with families. If we keep the world how it's supposed to be, and if we keep ourselves how we're supposed to naturally run, then it'll never be a point where we have to go back and figure it out. That's like figuring out how to eat and breathe, which is dumb. It's like literally the same thing. If you had to teach your son how to breathe when they came out, every kid would be dead. Right? Because you don't necessarily know how to do it. You do this. Maybe you heard me, but you fucking breathe in and you breathe out, but you don't know how to do it. You just do it. You couldn't explain it to somebody. Your explanation would be inhale and exhale, which is literally the same thing as breathe in and breathe out. So, farming, how to take care of yourself naturally should all be something that's just like breathing. That should be the only thing that we know. Because at this point, you can't act like we don't know things now that we teach our kids that's not detrimental to everybody. I won't even touch on the gay shit. I am going to touch on the gay shit because that's that gay shit, but you got to touch it. No homo. But Jesus, Jesus or Big Bang, if a nigga can't have a baby, then that's it, right? If a woman or a man can't have a baby by choice, that's not a choice. Like, I mean, it is a choice in my opinion, but when you factor in that you can't have a kid once you make that decision, like between the person that you say you love, which I think love is something that's built upon spending time with a person, you know? Like I spend a whole lot of time with my son, more than my wife do, and I be thinking like, damn, hope this nigga don't be gay and shit. Like, it's just what it is, because it's a thought of maybe if he's spending too much time with me, like too much, then that might be the sex that he believes he's supposed to be with more. So it's like little things factor into stuff, but you can't say that if we're all meant to procreate and shit like that, whether it be science for like the Darwin shit, if a nigga, how could you evolve into something that could choose to not have sex with the sex or with the opposite gender, which would literally keep the earth running? Every human being is wired to keep themselves alive, and that in turn keeps everybody alive. Because if we didn't, then you would have niggas making choices, and with the life that we make now or the life that we live now, the choice will always be to kill yourself. Like, imagine if niggas didn't have these pre-written things in our body, right, that show you life is different from what these niggas is telling us. We have pre-written things. A nigga has been suicidal. I know niggas that's been a lot of people. I'm talking a lot of people. Like, this shit not even funny. Shit not even funny. I was in a psych ward with a nigga. I wasn't supposed to be there, but it was actual crazy niggas in there. And it was a nigga who I was tight. Like, it was a nigga in the room with me. First night I was there by myself. Second night some big nigga came. And he was in there like, ho, 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 ho. Like he would just laugh in his sleep. Or he wasn't asleep, I don't know. But he was like 6 foot. He looked like an android. And I'm like, chill, son. Please don't kill me while I'm laying here. But he ain't never killed me. So, you know, that shit was real. It was nice, you know. It wasn't nice, but it was actually terrible, because how the fuck you gonna lock me down somewhere? And I was bugging out one day, and them niggas hit me with some drug. And they like, yo, we gonna hit you with this shit whether you like it or not, so you can either calm down or we could strap your ass down. And I'm like, wow, son, this shit is dead slavery, nigga. You could get put in that kind of situation as a sane nigga when you know you're not supposed to be here, and niggas is like, just take this drug. That was my first time on some shit, nigga. I was gone. Nigga was sloop. I was high as shit. My shit was, I couldn't even move my body, like. And then some funny shit happened where I went into a group trying to keep myself awake, because I'm like, I'm not gonna let this shit slump me over. Like, fuck these niggas. I went into a group. Them niggas like, you should lay down. I'm like, nah. And then I had an activity where I had to jump, and I felt myself jump, and it was like I didn't even move. And I just sat back down and started laughing. Like, that shit make me uncomfortable right now talking about it, because I don't like to be strapped down and shit. And to be on some shit that made my body feel like I'm no longer able to move it, I don't like that. And that's that real slavery shit. But the shit that I was going to hit on was, it was a nigga in there that was rapping. And he was rapping like, let's say if he was like, I got a car and I got a whip. I got the car, I got the car and it's like he just kept saying the same line over and over and over. And I'm like, I had to call my mom. I'm like, Ma, I need to get the hell out of here. It's a nigga in here rapping, and he's saying the same word over and over, and I'm about to punch this nigga in his face. Get me out of here. Couldn't nobody get me out that bitch. But I eventually got out. But that's all slavery shit. But I seen that nigga on the train, and I gave him a dap, and I'm like, you alright? He like, yeah. And I'm like, alright, man. And it's crazy. And I went, I went to take my my son to the hospital one time. He was sick, and I was sitting near the intake desk, and I saw another nigga who was also in the psych ward while I was there. I saw him going back, and I'm like, damn, son, these niggas don't fix nothing. Like, imagine that situation. These niggas don't fix nothing, and they won't take the blame for it. I've been in there where I know all they doing is talking to you, and they was kicking something. I forget what they was talking about because it wasn't important. But while we was talking, they was there just like, it was a group, and they just like, oh yeah, yeah. And these are the psychiatrists that we was waiting. I had to stay in there through New Year's. My son was like, he was born in November. My son was a month and some change. Like that, a month and some days. And I had to stay in there through New Year's because the psychiatrist didn't work over New Year's. When I got in there, it was Friday, and then I had to wait through the weekend, and then the New Year's was that Monday, I think. So then they didn't come in Monday or like Tuesday. So them niggas had me in there for like 7 days just because these niggas had a break. Like, fuck you mean a break? You mean you got niggas in here losing it, maybe, and you taking days off so you could party or chill? Bitch, you a psychiatrist. Fuck is you talking about? Come to fucking work. Specifically, fuck these other niggas. Like, I'm cool with them, but specifically so I could get out of here. What's wrong with y'all? I gotta wait to talk to y'all for y'all to say shit like that's not realistic. I was talking, and of course I'm talking to, you see I'm heated, right? I was talking to 3 people, right? 3 psychiatrists the first day they came in, and they like, what's your problems? First of all, everybody acting like, oh, you know, it's the holidays, and you know, a lot of people be, you know, feeling like they don't got enough, you know, money or whatever to take care of their family or get them gifts. And I'm like, that's not my problem. I got real issues that I'm mad about, real shit, if ever, and y'all never got no answers. So I'm like, the system of, I'm kicking the 3 people, one Jewish, a Jewish man, a white lady, and a chubby black girl. You know how this shit gonna end if you real like me. So I'm talking, and I'm like, so you give, it's a country, right? Everything is run off taxes already. So the object of the country would be to get everybody up to a point with free college, of course, so that they can literally run the country. You want people to work. And if you say college is the way to work, then you make that free, right? And then the housing will be free because you need people to live. Because if they don't live and take showers and be clean, then the shit is going to bring infections with that. And if they don't live, then they can't proceed to run the country like you want them to. This shit is all a system. And free food because they have to live, right? Electricity because this is the shit that you want to run. And college, right? All that other stuff that you buying from stores, clothing and all that, will be free. And imagine if we have more money to spend on other shit that's not just rent and fucking and housing and food and regular shit to keep you alive. Shit that you would not be paying for if America wasn't here. If a country wasn't running over you. You would already have these things. So you wouldn't have to worry about it. Right? And of course, here come the black girl. Oh, but that'll never work. And I'm like, why wouldn't it work? And her first example is, well, what if you go to another country and it don't work like that there? And it's like, I'm not talking about another country. I'm talking about here. But if the shit would work here, then other countries would adopt it. And it's really about making sure that we good. And she's like, I just don't think that would work. And I'm like, of course you don't. With your little black ass. Y'all niggas don't ever think anything that makes sense work. As soon as y'all get to a position, y'all niggas like, nah, this is the only thing that works. You pay for shit until you dead, and that's just it, right? Shit is crazy here. Niggas got fucked up mentalities, and America gonna act like they ain't teach niggas this shit, right? Come on. You got niggas that go to war, right? My mom was telling me about a lady that had she was in the army, and she got injured, and then they gave her some drug, and then she got hooked on the drug, and then they wouldn't give her no more, so then she went to the street shit, right? So now she in like recovery or whatever. So it's like, this was a long time ago, so I don't know how the lady doing, but this was a couple years ago she told me about this. But it's like, y'all got this woman, y'all signed her up for this shit, whether it was she liked it because of how y'all perceived it to be to her, because I told y'all, or I told somebody, fuck it, one time that commercial for the U.S. Army where that nigga jumping out the plane, backwards, like saluting, and somebody took a picture. I'm like, yo, I want to do that. Just by that, I want to do that. And that made me real quick like, I want to join the army. Then you had me a couple years ago on my real fucked up mentality, like, damn, hey yo, I'm angry as fuck. All this stupid shit happened, I should kill somebody. You know what? I should join the army. See? So now you got a more crazy mentality, and a nigga like me, I'm not crazy, right? I'm just angry as fuck. So I would be that person that would walk in and be able to be like, hey, yo, this is this, this is this, this is this. All right, thank you. And I'm signed up, and now I'm in the army to do what I wanted to do, right? But me being actually who I am, I don't follow through with none of that shit because I know I wouldn't really want to do that to nobody. It's just that anger talking and shit. And then you got when you find out, when you find out how much money these niggas be making, then it's like, hey, yo, I should sign up for the shit for that. So I had 3 different occasions where I'm like, I should sign up for the army, right? So you got to know that other niggas feel that kind of interest or shit entice them and whatnot. Because it's fascinating almost. You go to war, nigga. That shit is crazy. Go to war. But yeah, that's what they telling you to do. America teach a lot of crazy shit, man. I don't know what's going on with this shit. I don't know what's wrong with them. But these niggas is trying to keep you enslaved. And just that, I guess that's the point of this shit now. Like, I said America will remain blameless. Let's name something off. America brainwashed their soldiers, right? Testing this MK Ultra shit. They take the blame for it, but they won't take the blame for what happens to a person after that happened to them. The effects of it. I know a lot of niggas that believe 9/11 was an inside job. Whether it wasn't or not, no, fuck that. I'ma say it was, and we gonna say even if these niggas had to do what they had to do with the blah blahs, there's still a lot of people that got sick and a lot of people that died from that shit. And that's crazy. And that's New York, nigga. Them buildings was I ain't never get to see him personally. Come on, son. That's history. What you fucking up shit for? They ain't taking the blame for that shit, though. What we got? Fucking destroying the Middle East. You had places that was fine. They just went in there and run rampant in that bitch. Like, what's this nigga name? Saddam Hussein? I was real angry at Bush. Like, not during it, because at that time I was watching the news, but I wasn't like watching it because I was a real little kid and shit. But that shit with this nigga's talking about some get out. You got 48 hours to get out your country. Nigga said, what? Where am I supposed to go, nigga? First of all, this is my country. How you trying to tell me to leave my country? And 2, where am I going? And 3, why you sending off bombs over here? Right? Why you sending off bombs? Can I say, I don't believe Saddam Hussein took fucking, I don't think he took like, what's the word? I'm missing the word. I don't think he said that this shit was his fault, the 9/11 shit. So you telling me niggas got past the airport security, right? If any, at that time, I didn't take planes. But they got past that and they hijacked the plane, and they also, like, avoided the attention of, the control tower, and ended up hitting a building before the fucking Navy, which is posted up in the Hudson River, I believe. Ain't there some active niggas in the Hudson? I don't know, but them niggas could have got here quick, boy, and took that shit down, but they didn't, right? But it's like, damn. Y'all niggas let all that shit go through, but then y'all somehow found out that Saddam Hussein did it by the end of the night. Say, come on, son. Tell a nigga to get out his country. And do what? And do what, dummy? That shit is a dictatorship. Bush is so fucking smart and his associates is so smart that these niggas is, yeah, get out your country, dictator. Yeah. What happens to the people after that, dummy? The people that, even if you believe that he did it, that Saddam Hussein, orchestrated 9/11, then you still got to worry about the people. Who are you to leave an entire nation of people with no leader? You dummy. You an idiot. And I think a lot of the time niggas be looking at the traditions that niggas keep, right? And they say, oh, you don't have the shit that we have, so your shit must be terrible. So your leader gotta go. So that's how they really took these dictators. These niggas like, y'all dictators, and y'all don't have McDonald's on every corner and a Starbucks, and America can't go there and just build whatever businesses we want to build. And y'all niggas not trying to make dollars y'all main source of currency. So that means y'all bad and y'all gotta go. And that's really the basis at taking out all of these places. Like, why the queen not gone, nigga? If monarchies and dictatorships and all of these other shits is all bad, then how come you don't take her down? Where's the war for the queen? Huh? Niggas trying to come at all these African kings. Niggas trying to come at all these Muslim kings and all these fucking dictators that do their own shit, that's running their country fine until we come in there tearing it up. Or let them war between themselves, even if. Because it's not everybody warring. And they trying to get their shit together. But eventually that person comes in to make sense out of everything, right? Come on. I ain't even gonna kick no more thoughts. The point of this shit, America never gonna take the blame for anything. And these niggas really don't care about nothing. You a slave while you here because they own all the resources. You're not a slave physically. You could say you're a slave mentally because of the shit that they teach you. You tied to this country. If this country started running right now, you wouldn't know how to do anything. It's a good book. I love this book. It's called The Gone series. It's a couple books. Read them all if you can. It's like a teen fantasy type book, but it's about kids living in a place where, it's California. It's a part of California, but some crazy shit happened and everybody over 15 disappeared. So these niggas gotta learn how to survive with no adults around and without knowing how to run anything. So imagine that now. We got nuclear reactors. I don't know how long them shits run without humans fucking with it. But imagine if the country just go down. Who's gonna run that shit? You think if the country go down, the nigga who run the nuclear reactor is talking about, nah, I gotta stay here and make sure this shit don't fucking break down. Nah, that nigga going home. That nigga going home and everybody he worked with going home. If them niggas ain't dead already from whatever the fuck happened to make the country go down. You think the niggas that run the food is staying there? No. Them niggas bagging up as much food as they can, putting that shit in that big ass truck. They getting they homie to put that shit in another big ass truck, and them niggas is driving the fuck out. And they got the preservatives already so they could keep it cool for a while. Them niggas is gone. They picking up their family and they taking all the food they can and they dipping. And that's how it's going to work at every business. Everything is going to get looted while it can. Then everything is going to be done. And then nobody going to know how to run nothing but the people that's running stuff for themselves. Niggas got to learn shit, right? That's why I fuck with Malcolm X more than Martin Luther King. Niggas gotta learn shit, and then we gotta run shit for ourselves, and for our kids, and for each other, basically. Because these niggas have shown that they don't care about us. That's gonna be the main focus of everything with this real nigga news, is that these niggas don't care, and the real news, they not really trying to tell you nothing. They not trying to tell you that niggas don't care, because if you know that niggas don't care, you gonna move different. You're not gonna pledge allegiance to these niggas. You're not going to do everything you can to give your money to them. You're going to try to avoid that, like Trump said. Trump is a nigga he's like a real nigga. Come on, son. He said he don't pay taxes. Why? Because there's ways to not pay taxes legally, nigga. So get your shit up. You over here working 9 to 5, sometimes overtime, and you paying mad taxes on your shit. Meanwhile, Trump got businesses on businesses and he don't pay no taxes, and you mad at him. and he could say that shit on TV and get away with it before he's president, that means that it's legal. So look it up. Take a nigga advice. That's what it is. Niggas don't like advice because it comes from white people. Nigga, take where the person is in life or take what they talking about and take that advice, nigga. If it sounds good, if it sounds legit, look it up. See about it. That's the point of this shit. It's a real nigga thought. Fucking Lord Mav, Black Moon Pack, Black Moon Mall, Black Moon Nation, everything. Black Moon Life, nigga. Peace.